Morning, this is Jen, and today I'm going to talk to you about deceptive practices. In an article from the New York Times dated 1993, Tim Weiner writes about the Reagan lies concerning the so-called Star Wars program to fool the Kremlin and Congress into believing the program had some technological advances that would cause the Kremlin, as well as Congress, to spend large amounts of money on scientific technological advancements based on fictional data. They made advancements appear real by rigging tests and creating fictional data meant to mislead. Former Reagan administration officials said the lies were intended to deceive and persuade the Soviets as well as Congress to spend billions on technological advancements. Deception by the military is a common tactic usually used in wartime. This deception, however, as one military officer stated, it was used improperly, when Congress was also deceived, not just the Kremlin. News organizations, also having been deceived, reported it widely and deceived an awful lot of people. In the process of fooling adversaries, Caspar Weinberger, Secretary of Defense from 1981 to 1987, claimed not to have approved the program and also claimed that Congress was never deceived. Weinberger also stated, deceiving one's enemies is natural and necessary to any major military initiative. Further, he stated, you always work on deception. From a military standpoint, it is said that you always work in deception, you always practice it, you constantly mislead so that no one knows the actual facts. A scientist from the project stated, we lose hundreds of millions of dollars in Congress if we didn't perform it successfully. It would be a catastrophe. In order to be sure of the results, to show its success, tests were faked. A beacon was placed on the target, a receiver on the interceptor. The interceptor, therefore, was able to talk to the target, resulting in a successful interception. Having shown the first missile ever to intercept a long-range ballistic missile while in flight, Congress approved the funding. After receiving the funding, the military then tried repeating the results, but this time without deception. This resulted in minimal positive results, probably due to the law of averages. Head of the Missile Defense Project in the Reagan administration declined to comment on the issue in 1993 when the New York Times article appeared. The point of this article is many. That all wartime tactics are fair in war, but since when did war include securing funding from Congress, essentially from the taxpayers, using deceitful practices? Has the military been reined in since that time and ordered not to further use military tactics? An order of such sort would have come from the President of the United States acting as Commander-in-Chief of the United States military forces. Has such an order been written? Were the members of Congress the actual target of this deceitful practice, or was it really the taxpayers who in the end would be paying for it? Was the purpose of the fictional results really a deceitful practice targeted towards Congress, or was it to encourage the common man into accepting large budget expenditures? If Congress was not deceived, then Congress knew it was all fictional results, and therefore Congress, the military, and the president intended to deceive the common man into footing the bill for something known to be a fiction in order to encourage the Kremlin to do the same. The Federal Register publication system turns up no results for discouraging or ordering the military not to use deception. Therefore, no president since 1993 has seen it within his integrity of upholding the law to discourage deception in the military ranks when applied towards those who it is bound by oath to protect. When you base your system of government on defense, with an S, meaning vengeance, everything and everyone becomes an enemy, just as a hammer is to nail, power is to corruption, video is to proof, and beautiful lies are to truth, and etc. Deceptive practice does not appear to be something new to the United States, as the list of conspiracies abound. Either theoretical conspiracies or proven when it comes to the United States federal government system. This should bring into question whether the moon landing really did occur, as the picture I have just painted you shows that the Star Wars program was based on a complete fiction to include videos and test results to get either or both Congress and the American people to spend money on military games. This isn't a new idea, as deception goes back to the dawn of man and his desire to get his own or to make someone else pay. So we see here in this event of Star Wars that the military is willing to deceive Congress and or the taxpayers out of money using deceptive practices. Those it has an oath to protect, it destroys through robbery on the highway of deception. In the Army Field Manual called Army Support to Military Deception, Field Manual 3-13.4, February 2019, military deception is planned, trained, and conducted to support military campaigns and military operations. Since the common man and taxpayer is already used to support military objectives through the use of deception and deceptive military practice, what will be next? When will we become the enemy of ourselves? I have heard that the military will never wage war upon its own people, and I ask you, hasn't it already? The manual continues with types of military deception. 1-30. Any deception aims to either increase or decrease the level of uncertainty or ambiguity in the mind of the deceptive target. This ambiguity has the potential to compel the target to mistakenly perceive friendly motives, intentions, capabilities, and vulnerabilities, thereby altering the target's assessment. 2 generally recognized type of MILDEC exist. 1. Ambiguity increasing, and 2. Ambiguity decreasing. Feint, described in 1-36. A feint is designated to lead the enemy into erroneous conclusions about friendly dispositions and concentrations. A series of feints can condition the enemy to react ineffectively to a future main attack in the same area. What this means is that the feint allows the military to perform repeated attacks in the same area. Area in this instance can be of 2 types, a geographical area or a type of deception meaning an area of deceptive practice or a subject of deceptive practice. Other such headings and techniques listed in this field manual are ruse, display, techniques, conditioning the army, leading by mistake, leading by substitution, Magruder's principle, limitations to human information processing, multiple forms of surprise, Jones's dilemma, leveraging the truth, minimize falsehood, sequencing rule, and many others. Under deception maxims 1-31, the military derives deception maxims from game theory, historical evidence, social science, and decision analysis theory. These maxims are offered to enhance the deception concepts provided in this publication. They provide additional insight that commanders and their staffs use to develop their plans. Shown here to see a section on notes called Deception Maxims, Facts, and Folklore. From here we find the FOIA submitted to the government, ATIC, dated 2015, sourced from the Central Intelligence Agency, which includes information from deceptive research programs dated 1981, and under abstract states the maxims come from historical case studies. I will leave the link in this paper in the description, and you may choose to read it. What deceptions will you believe? That extraterrestrials are coming to Earth who will only speak with those in government? That a UFO landed in America and thus the United States has some high level of technology? That the federal government can take your private property, or that it owns everything? That everyone is a federal citizen and therefore a taxpayer? That the country is bankrupt and that's why we must use Federal Reserve notes? That the men and women in Congress are actual leaders? That the military needs more weapons? That there is some other reason to go to war and kill innocent people? Here on the armypubs.army.mil website, we see deception, military deception, is an actual manual. Army support to military deception. This is an unclassified manual. Don't believe everything you see. Don't believe everything you hear. Be alert. Be on guard, as always, and we always should be. Be prepared and stay safe. Like, share, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.